Time to shine the spotlight on the Seattle Seahawks, a franchise born in the Pacific Northwest that turned into a national powerhouse. Known for their ferocious defenses, iconic players, and one of the loudest home crowds in sports, the Seahawks are the definition of modern football culture. From Steve Largent's elegance to the Legion of Boom's dominance, from Marshawn Lynch's power to Russell Wilson's precision, this is the story of a team that built its identity on passion, pride, and perseverance. But here's the question. After a decade of dominance, can the Seahawks soar to the top again? You're watching Spotlight Stories NFL, where every team has a story and we put them under the spotlight. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode. The Seattle Seahawks were founded in 1976, joining the NFL as an expansion team. Their first general manager, John Thompson, and head coach, Jack Patera, helped establish the franchise's early culture of resilience. After years of growing pains, the team found its first real success in the early 1980s, thanks to quarterback Jim Zorn, wide receiver Steve Largent, and running back Kurt Warner. By 1983, the Seahawks made their first playoff appearance, stunning the AFC with an underdog run to the AFC Championship game. In 2002, realignment moved Seattle from the AFC to the NFC, where they would become one of the conference's most consistent contenders. The 2000s under head coach Mike Holmgren marked the team's first golden era. Quarterback Matt Hasselbeck, running back Shaun Alexander, and a dominant offensive line led by Walter Jones powered Seattle to Super Bowl 40 in 2006. Though they fell to the Steelers in a controversial game remembered for several questionable calls, the Seahawks had arrived as a legitimate NFL powerhouse. The franchise's defining transformation came under Pete Carroll, hired in 2010. Building through the draft, Carroll and general manager John Schneider constructed one of the most complete rosters in NFL history. With Russell Wilson at quarterback, Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, and the Legion of Boom, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Bobby Wagner, the Seahawks became a juggernaut. Their 2013 team dominated the NFL, boasting the league's best defense and crushing the Denver Broncos 43-8 in Super Bowl 48 to win their first Lombardi Trophy. 1 year later, the Seahawks returned to the Super Bowl for a chance to repeat. In Super Bowl 49, they were seconds away from victory until an interception sealed one of the most heartbreaking endings in NFL history. Despite the loss, that era cemented Seattle's legacy as one of the defining teams of the 2010s. Today, the Seahawks are in transition, led by a new generation of talent, but their culture, built on toughness, unity, and the roar of the 12s, remains as strong as ever. Fun fact number 1, did you know the Seahawks once played in both conferences and are the only team to do it twice? Seattle started in the NFC West in 1976, switched to the AFC West in 1977, and then returned to the NFC West in 2002 after the NFL realignment. They're the only team in history to change conferences twice. The Seahawks' look is as bold as their identity. Their original uniforms, unveiled in 1976, featured royal blue, green, and silver, with a helmet logo inspired by Pacific Northwest Native American art. Over time, the team modernized its look, introducing navy blue and neon green as primary colors in 2002, then redesigning again in 2012 with the Nike era. Today's uniforms, i.e. sleek, angular, and futuristic, they symbolize the team's energy and regional pride. The wolf gray alternates and vibrant action green jerseys have become fan favorites. The helmet, with its stylized hawk eye, represents power and unity. The Seahawks' home has been as iconic as their colors. From the Kingdom, the loud indoor stadium of the 1980s and 90s, to the open-air Lumen Field, formerly CenturyLink Field, Seattle's home field advantage has always been legendary. The 12th man, now officially the 12s, is recognized by Guinness World Records for creating some of the loudest stadium noise in sports history. In fact, crowd noise once caused a minor earthquake during Marshawn Lynch's 2011 playoff run, the moment forever known as the Beast Quake. Fun fact number 2. Did you know the Kingdom once hosted a crowd so loud it caused structural damage? In 1984, during a playoff win over the Raiders, the noise from fans in the Kingdom reached such extreme levels that parts of the stadium's ceiling panels loosened and cracked. It was one of the first times engineers ever studied fan noise as a seismic event. The Seahawks' high points are moments of triumph that have defined modern football. Their first taste of glory came in 1983 when they reached the AFC Championship in just their 8th season, an incredible feat for a young expansion franchise. The 2005 season marked the arrival of a true contender, led by NFL MVP Shaun Alexander, who rushed for 1,880 yards and scored 28 touchdowns. Seattle reached Super Bowl 40, their first in franchise history, despite a heartbreaking loss to Pittsburgh. It was a season that put Seattle on the NFL map, but the ultimate high came in 2013. The Seahawks fielded one of the most dominant defenses ever assembled, the Legion of Boom. With Russell Wilson's calm leadership and Marshawn Lynch's punishing style, Seattle went 13-3 and stormed through the playoffs. Their 43-8 victory over Peyton Manning's record-breaking Denver Broncos in Super Bowl 48 It was an emphatic statement. The Seahawks weren't just champions, they were a dynasty in the making. The following year, the team returned to Super Bowl 49, this time facing the New England Patriots. The game ended in one of the most infamous plays in NFL history, a goal line interception that snatched victory away from Seattle in the final seconds. While that heartbreak still lingers, it also cemented the Seahawks' place in NFL lore as a team that played with fearless passion. In more recent years, the Seahawks have continued to compete, powered by new faces Tyler Lockett and Tariq Woolen. The 2022 resurgence under Geno Smith, who revitalized his career and earned Comeback Player of the Year honors, reminded everyone that Seattle's competitive fire still burns bright. Fun fact number 3. Did you know the Seahawks' Super Bowl 48 victory was the most lopsided win in over 20 years? Seattle's 43-8 demolition of the Denver Broncos in 2014 wasn't just dominant, it was the third largest margin of victory in Super Bowl history and the first time in over 2 decades that the league's number 1 defense faced and defeated the number 1 offense. For all their triumphs, the Seahawks have had their share of heartbreak. Their Super Bowl 40 loss to the Steelers remains infamous for questionable officiating that left fans feeling robbed. The Super Bowl 49 interception against New England became a symbol of what could have been a single play that shifted an entire dynasty. The team also endured growing pains in the 1990s, including losing seasons and ownership uncertainty before Paul Allen purchased the franchise in 1997, stabilizing its future. Injuries, aging stars, and internal clashes eventually broke up the Legion of Boom era, leaving fans nostalgic for the glory days. Yet through it all, the Seahawks have remained competitive. Never broken, always rebuilding, always believing. The Seahawks' all-time icons span every era. Steve Largent, the franchise's first superstar, set nearly every major receiving record in the 1980s and became the team's first Hall of Famer. Cortez Kennedy, the 1992 NFL Defensive Player of the Year, dominated the trenches and personified leadership. In the modern era, Matt Hasselbeck, Shaun Alexander, and Walter Jones led the 2000s resurgence. Then came the defining figures of the Pete Carroll dynasty. Russell Wilson, the winningest quarterback in franchise history, Marshawn Lynch, whose violent running style made him a cult hero, and the Legion of Boom, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, and Bobby Wagner, one of the most feared defensive units ever assembled. Today, players like Tyler Lockett and Tariq Woolen carry the torch, representing a new generation of Seahawks talent. From Largent's grace to Lynch's fury, Seattle's icons have always embodied the same thing: relentless energy and pride for the Pacific Northwest. Fun fact number 4, did you know the Seahawks were the last team to win a playoff game without scoring an offensive touchdown? In the 2006 NFC Divisional Playoff against Washington, Seattle won 20-10 without a single offensive touchdown. The points came from 2 field goals, a fumble recovery, and an interception return. The Seahawks' coaching history has featured some of football's most influential figures. Their first head coach, Jack Patera, won NFL Coach of the Year in 1978, guiding the team to early success. Chuck Knox, hired in 1983, brought toughness and discipline, leading Seattle to multiple playoff appearances in the 80s. The franchise's modern transformation came under Mike Holmgren, who arrived from Green Bay in 1999. Holmgren built a powerhouse around Hasselbeck, Alexander, and Jones, delivering the team's first Super Bowl appearance in 2005. After Holmgren's departure, Seattle entered a brief lull before Pete Carroll took over in 2010. Carroll's tenure became the most successful in team history, a culture built on always compete, high energy, and relentless belief. With general manager John Schneider, Carroll drafted a generation of stars that would bring Seattle its first Lombardi Trophy and 2 straight Super Bowl appearances. Even as the roster evolved, Carroll's steady leadership kept the Seahawks competitive for over a decade. Now, as the team transitions into a new era, Carroll's legacy remains the architect of a culture that forever changed the franchise. Fun fact number 5. Did you know the Legion of Boom name came from a local radio show? The nickname wasn't invented by the media or the team. It came from Seattle radio hosts Michael Bumpus and Chris Kidd in 2012. The name perfectly captured the secondary's devastating combination of physicality, swagger, and intimidation. The Seahawks entered the 2025 NFL Draft with a clear agenda: rebuild the trenches, re-energize their defense, and lay the foundation for the next era. With the 18th overall pick in Round 1, Seattle selected Gray Zabel, an offensive guard from North Dakota State, whose elite versatility, having played all 5 line positions in college, immediately addressed one of the team's biggest weaknesses. In Round 2, the Seahawks moved aggressively to strengthen the secondary, trading up to pick number 35 to grab Nick Emenwari, a safety out of South Carolina whose blend of size, speed, and instinct offered the defense a future game-changer. The same night, with pick number 50, they added tight end Elijah Arroyo out of Miami, a pass-catching weapon with upside who promises to give the offense a new dimension. In Round 3, at number 92, Seattle selected quarterback Jalen Milroe from Alabama. Though not expected to start immediately, he represents the future of the position in Seattle and gives the organization insurance while the rebuild takes shape. On day 3, the Seahawks kept building smart depth and upside. In the 5th round, they selected defensive tackle Riley Mills out of Notre Dame, pick 142, a strong disruptor in the interior whose college stats backed his raw talent. Later in Round 5 came wide receiver Torrey Horton, pick 166, Colorado State, a sleeper athlete with deep threat ability and big play potential. Still on day 3, they took fullback Robbie Oustes of Alabama, pick 175. A prototypical blocker who adds physicality and versatility in the ground game. And in Round 6, the Seahawks added guard Bryce Cabledew from Kansas, pick 192, a late-round value pick with starter potential down the line. Taken together, this 2025 draft class reflects Seattle's shift from fast fixes to foundational building. Zabel and Cabledew strengthen the offensive line now and for the future. Emenwari and Mills bolster the defense's core, and Arroyo, Horton, and Milroe inject playmaking upside into the offense. Analysts praised the class as one of the most balanced Seattle has produced, a blend of immediate need fillers and long-term bets, built not for flash but sustained toughness. From the loudest fans in football to one of the most iconic defenses ever assembled, the Seattle Seahawks have built a legacy far beyond their years. Their story is one of defiance, determination, and belief. Belief that no game is over, no opponent too big, and no goal too far away. The question now is simple. Can the next generation of Seahawks write their own chapter of greatness and bring another Lombardi home to the 12s? Don't forget to like and subscribe to Spotlight Stories NFL, where every team has a story and we put them under the spotlight.